Hello guys, I'm out here at the range today with the C&H Precision direct mount optic for my CZ P10 C. I'm certain it'll fit the P10F as well. As I mentioned in the short, I promised to get it out to the range. We are going to shoot it a little bit today, get it zeroed up, see how it holds zero, talk a little bit about it versus some other optics. Again, as mentioned in the short, it did come with a card with some QR codes on there for your warranty and also to download your manual. It did come with a 1632 Duracell battery, which is a side mount here so that you do not need to remove the optic in order to change the battery. I would imagine on the lowest setting and you not constantly picking it up, it can reach up to 60,000 hours of battery life, which to say the least is just impressive. It did come with these screws to mount it directly. Again, flush mount, direct mount, straight to the slide. Did come with those screws. It did come with the Allen wrench in order to tighten those screws, although I did use my torque screwdriver and I torqued those screws to 15 pounds as CZ recommends. Does come in the box also with the adjustment tool here, and I did adjust it to the front side as I do most of them, so we will see how good I've become over the years of zeroing it on my couch. It did come nicely packaged in the box, as I said in the short. I do like a nice packaging. Did come nicely packaged, had it presented up there on the top. And so, and again, I just think when people pay attention to the small things like that, I feel like they would pay attention to the more important things internally, the electronics, etc. So it does have very easy to manipulate, very easy up and down arrows, nothing complicated about adjusting the brightness settings. There are 10 of those. It's very light out here today, so I can imagine that I probably will have it set to the 5 or 6 range, somewhere in there. But again, there are 10 of those brightness settings. I will say this, I do have a touch of astigmatism. I do have corrective lenses, which I did not bring to the range with me today. But for some reason, there are optics. There's 5 that I was thinking of prior to doing this review. And oddly enough, the RMR splatters on me unless I'm wearing the corrective lenses, but the SRO does not. And I would think that they would be the same exact electronics inside, but for whatever, I don't know if it's got something to do with the larger glass. I'm not really sure. Surprisingly, the cheapest optic that does not splatter on me is the Fox Army optic that I did a review on not too long ago. Very nice dot on that. All 3 of the EOTech E-Flexes that I had done exceptionally well as far as just looking as though it was just painted on the glass. The glass was so clear. I'm not sure that I'm ever going to find an optic, even though that's not a super popular optic, that just the glass was just so clear it was like it wasn't there. I thought the glass was missing in it. So those are the only 4 or 5 optics that I have that doesn't have that splatter to it. So when I mentioned that it is a very crisp dot, I say that because when I put my corrective lenses on, it did crisp right up. Very nice dot. So if you don't have astigmatism, shouldn't be a problem. It's not going to be a problem for me. It never is a problem for me in accuracy. It just has a little bit of a fuzz around it, or a fuzz to it, if you will. But again, with the corrective lenses, it straightened right up. I'm sure that will not be an issue for you whatsoever. Actually looking at it on this black background here, it's a very crisp dot, and I don't have my lenses on. We'll talk more about the glass clarity once I'm able to point it down range at the target and get it set up. Again, it does have 10 different brightness settings. It is waterproof. It is shockproof. It is shake awake. Really nice. Do not have to remove the battery. I'm sorry, the optic in order to change the battery. It does have a 3 MOA dot, 23 MOA circle, and or you can do simply both. So let's get it out here on target and see if we can get it zeroed up and see how it performs. Okay, so just I had to move over here in the shade because my camera keeps overheating. It's 95 degrees out here today. But just looking down the glass in the sunlight, it is a super clear glass. Just like I said on the short that I did, just playing around with it at the house, it is a very clear glass. And actually with my shades on, these are not corrective lenses. I don't really see a whole lot of that splatter like I did last night when I was looking at it just with the naked eye and no glasses. So I don't know. I've always been a fan of C&H plates. Like I said, I was super excited when they came out with these optics, and I am super stoked that they decided to send me one for review. And the thing that I like the most about it is not only does it co-witness with the factory irons, but also on my P10F, it's so difficult to find an optic from Holosun that flush mounts on there, because you know Holosun made one specifically for the CZ P10 C as well, and I like when companies do that, and CH come along and made one for this and filled that void, if you will, because you can't find that Holosun with the FBI. So if you are looking for the Holosun, so far as Christmas crispness of the dot and the glass, just the clarity of the glass and the features available, and just how flush mount this thing is. I mean, it's the tolerances are right on point. I mean, there is literally no, it literally looks as though it's made into the gun. I mean, I really like that, just how close the tolerances are from front to back. There'll be no movement, no concerns about anything shearing off. So with all of that yakking said, let's try to put some on target. I did not zero this off camera. That might be a mistake, but I do trust myself with the way that the optic was zeroed on this gun that was on here prior to me putting this one on here, and I know about where that dot was at, so I'm assuming I probably have it right. But let's get the camera turned around and get some rounds put down here on the target. I got my 17 round mag in here, one in the pipe, so we'll see how many we can get right dead center of that target. Wow. I mean, honestly, I didn't expect it to do anything but perform. As mentioned, I've bought a lot of their plates and products in the past, and they have been nothing but top notch. So again, I realize just one magazine, but just kind of hand zeroing it, if you will, on the table, just kind of putting the dot right above the front sight like the other dot that was on here was. And yeah, I'm shooting a tad bit low, but the group is phenomenal. Did not move at all. Again, this is not a torture test. They did send me this. I think this optic runs somewhere between 300 and 350. Ask me how you can save 10%. I'll put a link on the video here and also in the comments if I can figure out how to do that, where you can go over and save 10%. And I may or may not. It's going to be hard for me to come out here because I don't know how many people are actually torturing their optics when they go out and spend $350 on it to see whether or not, you know, just for the heck of it, you know. I mean, there's not too many people reconning through the desert just buying these optics. So I'm not. Listen, I will come back out to the range, and I will, you know, rack it off of maybe the tailgate on the truck. You know, heck, who knows? I'll do that right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now, and then we'll spray paint the target and shoot it again and see if it's still maintaining 0. Okay, so my wife got upset with me the last time I done this, so I'm gonna have to make sure I don't catch the paint on the other side of this, because I jacked up the cap, if you will, here on the tailgate. But I figured this was a lot harder surface than would be a tree or something like that, just to kind of rack it off of if you were in a situation where you lost a hand and you needed to rack it off of something. I mean, I try to hit it as hard as I can on the front of that without tearing up the tailgate, of course. And you know, it's hard for me to drop. Again, I pay for all of my own guns, so it's very difficult for me to drop my gun because I don't want to damage the thing. CZ is my favorite brand, and of course I bought the thing, so I'll give it a little drop right here. You know, this is a very hard tailgate here, so maybe the sight, the front sight, and the optic will take the brunt of the punishment. I don't think it'll hurt my gun, but I say it's about 2 foot, so let's see what happens there. Okay, that made me paranoid, so I'm not going to do that again. Maybe rack it off of there a few more times, and let's get back on the target and see if it's still holding 0. Yeah, I'll say that it's holding up. I mean, of course, you got to give the CZ some credit too, and the shooter. Give the shooter some credit. But when you're relying exclusively on that red dot, then it is what it is. You see what you see. Those couple that went low, that wasn't in that super tight group there. And again, I'm standing at about 11 yards. That's where I zeroed it at. Well, didn't really zero it, but that's where I started out shooting from. I usually shoot about 10, 11 yards. I mean, that's the best you're going to get from me for now anyway. I might grow a set and torture test it some other time, but the glass still super, super clear. No damage to the paint or the finish on the front of the glass here, like sometimes you'll see if you hit it on something really hard. Again, I know there's going to be people that you know, it always happens, you know, what about if you drop it on the concrete? Well, you know, listen, pal, I buy these guns myself. I'm not looking to drop my gun on the concrete. It's just not something that I'm looking to do, and I don't know how to, other than what I've already done here. I don't know how to further reenact a dropping of it on the concrete without damaging my gun. It's just not something that I'm going to do. So you got what you got. So I'm going to put a few more rounds through it off camera just because it's so much fun to shoot. But I love this optic. Absolutely love it. There's so much to love about it. Just the flush fit, the fact that you have an option if you can't get that CZ SC, I mean, I'm sorry, the Holosun SCS to fit on here. You can't find it anywhere. You have an option now. Very positive adjustments. I mean, you can hear it click when you turn it for the windage and elevation. You know that it locked into place. It doesn't have that free spin like you get on some of the cheaper optics that you might buy. Again, just super uniform fit. I know I've said that 100 times, but it just looks so good. It's so sexy on this optic. Again, not having to remove the optic to change the battery, huge plus. Love the shake awake. Not sure why all of them are not that way. And as you could see with the first magazine and me just basically hand zeroing it at the house at the end of the hallway and beating it on the tailgate, dropping it from about 1.5 2 foot, still holding zero nicely. I have no reason to believe that this would not be a totally awesome optic. Everything that these guys make have always been great for me. Either way, again, I'll put a link up. Click on the link, go over, follow that link, go over, save 10%, and pick you up one of these optics. I promise you that you will not regret it. C&H Precision, I believe the website is CHPWS, or it could be CHPW. Let me look right fast. Hold on one second. I have it right here. So yes, it's CHP. See, had it CHPWS.com, CHPWS.com. Go over, pick you one of these up. This is the CZ-DMO, which is direct mount optic for the CZ P10 C. I'm sure it'll work. I know it'll work actually on the P10F as well. Absolutely love the optic. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. If you have any questions about this optic, feel free to ask in the comment section. I will answer any question that you have, maybe something that I did not cover. I will be following up with this more. This is just, you know, my initial range trip, my initial thoughts with this being new to me, because it's new to me as well. Again, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Go over, check me out on Patreon. Also go over, sub up or like on Rumble, and go over, check out G Squared Tactical, where you can find hats, cups, coasters. Help us out and encourage us a great deal. Also go over and definitely pick you up one of these optics. Thanks so much. God bless.